I am a data scientist. Here's what a day in my life looks like. Every morning, I wake up at 8 a.m., make myself a cup of coffee, and open my laptop. And then I let AI do my entire data science job for me while I browse through Instagram and sleep. Sounds like a dream job, right? Well, except that I lied. That's not true at all. AI has not taken my data science job yet, despite what the internet tells you. I have read so many articles and blog posts talking about how data science is dead and how AI is going to replace data scientists in the next few years. And a lot of people have messaged me on LinkedIn asking me if it's still worth becoming a data scientist in 2025. So if you want to become a data scientist and you're worried that AI is gonna take your job, let me explain to you what exactly a data scientist does. Because data science roles are a lot more complex than what the internet makes them out to be. In fact, AI has only been able to automate like 10% of my data science job. And I not only have a full-time data science job, but also multiple freelance data roles, none of which AI has touched. Also, a lot of companies that I have worked with are actively hiring for data science positions. In fact, I know some companies that haven't been able to fill their data science positions for like 6 to 12 months, which tells me that if anything, there is a talent shortage. So before you decide to quit on your data science career, watch this video because I am going to tell you whether or not it is still worth becoming a data scientist in 2025. To make life easy for you, I have divided this video into 3 chapters. In chapter 1, we will talk about what exactly a data scientist does. In chapter 2, we will talk about whether AI will replace data scientists. And finally, in chapter 3, I will explain to you how to build a data science career that is secure from tech layoffs. Let's get into it. Before we get into this video, I would like to do a quick sidetrack. I often get people messaging me, asking me how they can get started with data science and how to learn data science. If you're a complete beginner and you're looking to learn data science, then I suggest taking the complete machine learning and AI bootcamp by Zero to Mastery. Zero to Mastery is one of the best platforms to learn data science. I have taken multiple Python and data science courses on this platform, and that has led me to get my first data science internship. Also, this specific data science course is taught by an instructor called Daniel Burke. This instructor is really good at taking complex concepts and making it easy to understand. Also, Daniel Burke used to be an Uber driver, and he is now a data scientist who is making over $10,000 each month. So what better person to learn from than someone who is literally making thousands of dollars each month as a self-taught data scientist? Okay, so what will you learn in this data science course? Firstly, you will learn machine learning. How do machine learning models work? What are the various types of machine learning models? And this knowledge is so valuable in the age of AI, even if you don't want to become a data scientist. It is very important to have at least a basic understanding of how machine learning works. Secondly, you will learn how to code. You will learn how to use libraries like NumPy and Pandas for data manipulation in Python. You will also learn how to use Seaborn and Matplotlib to visualize data. Thirdly, you will learn how to build your own machine learning models in Python using libraries like scikit-learn. One more thing that I really like about this course is that it also teaches you data engineering. This is something that I really struggled with when I got my first data science job because I was required to work with engineering teams to build ETL pipelines and data engineering pipelines. And I had no idea how to do any of that because I had just learned core machine learning and data science concepts. So this course is going to teach you data engineering concepts that will give you an edge over other data scientists so that you don't struggle at your job like I did. Finally, you will learn about neural networks and deep learning, which are the backbone of artificial intelligence. If you're a busy person like me and you only have the time to take one data science course, then I would recommend taking this one because it has so much value in it. It literally covers 45 hours of content in a single video, and it teaches you things like data engineering, deep learning, and neural networks. So if all of this sounds great to you, then head to the link in my description to get this course. You have two options. You can either purchase this course using the link in my description, or you can purchase a subscription to the Zero to Mastery platform, which gives you access to all of their courses for just $25 a month. Okay, let's get back to the video and learn whether AI is going to replace data science in 2025. What exactly does a data scientist do? Here's what a day in my life as a data scientist actually looks like. It's a relaxing Monday morning, and I'm taking my first sip of coffee as our product manager walks in, looking very unhappy. Our new feature is not performing well, he tells me, and it's your job to figure out why. So I go to ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, all of which fail to solve the problem. Finally, I put my coffee down and decide to analyze this myself. The first thing I do is some preliminary analysis to understand the data and see if anything's going wrong. And then I will look into our data pipelines and speak to engineering teams to make sure that there is no data quality issue. If I still can't figure out the problem, I will go a bit deeper and do some troubleshooting, like creating A/B tests or splitting users into different segments to understand if there's a particularly problematic group of users. If all of this sounds complicated, let me summarize. I use data science techniques to build and improve a company's product offering. So if a feature is underperforming or if it's not doing as well as expected, then I will help figure out why. And that's just a part of my job. Now, I'm going to break down a little further what a data scientist does, and it's going to get a bit more technical, but I want you to stay with me because I want you to understand what exactly a data scientist does so that you will learn why it is so difficult to replace data science with AI. Now, let's take Spotify as an example. Every year, Spotify releases an annual recap called Spotify Wrapped. Spotify Wrapped has over 100 million users. What goes behind creating a product like this? Of course, you have a product team. So you have a product engineer who oversees this entire project, a designer who comes up with pretty animations, and an engineer who builds the whole thing out. Seems pretty simple, right? Just count some numbers and show it to users. Well, behind all of those numbers and the pretty animations, there is a data scientist just like me. Here's what the data scientist does. First, they need to figure out what to show in the report in the first place, and what do you show first? The person's music persona, your top artist, the total minutes listened. These might sound like very simple decisions, but a small change in how Spotify Wrapped is displayed can lead to a loss in hundreds of thousands of engagement and a major revenue loss. The decisions that the data scientist makes are crucial to the company's bottom line. They can end up either bringing in millions of dollars or losing millions of dollars in revenue. In Spotify's case, the data scientist needs to make decisions like what user segments to build, what metrics to show, and how to structure the report. To make some of these decisions, the data scientist will launch experiments to test out which version of Spotify Wrapped performs best. For example, they might show you version A with your top music persona shown first, version B with your top artist first, and version C with some kind of new funky animation. And whichever version performs best will be launched. Of course, AI can help with some of this. It can help you write SQL queries and Python code to do some of this analysis, but even that requires careful prompting from someone with a strong understanding of the database. AI can also help with things like building dashboards, machine learning models, and statistical analysis to some extent. But here's what AI cannot do. AI cannot execute an entire data science lifecycle, which involves calculating user metrics and deciding on what metric to capture in the first place. This requires a strong understanding of the domain as well as the product that you're working with. 2, working with engineers to build ETL pipelines to capture this data in the first place. 3, running A/B tests and experiments and making decisions based on the data obtained. Finally, communicating with stakeholders. For example, how do you explain to a stakeholder at Spotify why it is better to show a user's top artist first before you show them their music persona? This is something that most data influencers won't tell you about data science jobs. They'll tell you to take an online course, take a boot camp, and then that's it. You're prepared to become a data scientist. But a really good, irreplaceable data scientist also has to have the following skills. 1, product knowledge. You need to know the company's product and the domain like the back of your hand. 2, engineering and math. You need to have strong engineering skills that go beyond just knowledge of SQL and Python. You also need to have a strong grasp of mathematics. 3, collaboration and business impact. You must be able to work across teams like product, design, and engineering to drive business impact. You have to make data-driven decisions. This is the most crucial part of your job, and this is the reason why companies hire data scientists in the first place. Because at the end of the day, the company has just one goal, and that is to make money. And data scientists are invaluable because they help companies make decisions that bring in millions of dollars in revenue. Now, to make these decisions, you don't just build a beautiful dashboard or have some programming knowledge. You need to really understand how to deliver business impact. You have to have a really strong understanding of the product and the company's user base. So yes, a data scientist who doesn't have the skills I mentioned will be replaced. But that's not because of AI, that's because they're not bringing in any business value. A data science job is not easy. Everything that I've just explained to you earlier is very difficult to learn. It can only be gained through experience. And that is why data scientists are paid so much. That is also why you'll see huge pay raises at each stage of a data scientist's career. So between a junior to senior data science position, you will see a 30 to 50% salary spike, which is really high. Data scientists who can work across different teams and actually drive business impact are very rare. And that's why they're invaluable to companies and they cannot be replaced. Look, I received 3 data science job offers in less than a month in 2024. And this is because companies are currently struggling to find data scientists who have this combined skill set of technical skills and domain expertise. If you gain this combined skill set, then you will be irreplaceable and you will always be able to find new jobs. Now, here's why AI cannot take my data science job. To put it simply, a data scientist job looks like this: 50% math and reasoning, 30% product and business knowledge, 10% presenting to stakeholders, and 10% doing analytics, coding, and machine learning. Yes, AI can help with some of the analytics and coding part of the job, and the code interpreter that everyone said was going to kill data scientists, I use it every day to help me write SQL queries and analyze data. But that's just like 10% of my entire data science job. All of the brainstorming, business impact, statistical rigor, metric calculations, everything comes from me, the data scientist. And that is why AI just doesn't worry me for now, because it doesn't even have the logic and reasoning skills required to do half of my job. And if I can use AI to become a better programmer or to automate parts of my workflow, then that just makes me a more efficient data scientist. AI just helps me do my job faster, which means quicker product releases and shorter turnaround times. Now, I will say that junior data science positions are more at risk than senior positions, and that's because as a junior, you don't have all of those years of experience, right? You don't have all of those skills that come with many years of working in the field. That's why junior data science positions are also harder to come across. So if you want to become a data scientist and you're looking for an entry-level position, you do have to get creative. You have to do things that set yourself apart from the competition to be able to get that first job. And I have an entire video on my channel that teaches you exactly how to do this. You can check that out if you're interested. Now, you're probably thinking, but Natasha, what about mass layoffs? What is the point of working so hard to get a data science job in the first place if I'm just gonna get laid off anyways? And you're right to worry about this because recently there have been a lot of tech layoffs. But these layoffs are not just about AI. Most of them are because of the overhiring that has happened in the past few years. So, if you want to become a data scientist and your goals are career safety, a high salary, getting promoted, and climbing up the corporate ladder, then here's what you need to do. You need to choose a role that brings in direct business impact. Here's what I mean. There are many different types of data science positions, right? Some of them are sole machine learning roles. Some of them are research positions. And some of them involve working closely with the business to bring in revenue. Now, the further away you are from the business, the more at risk your job is. And this is because only 20% of machine learning models make it to production. Which means that the data scientists whose sole job is to work on these models, they're basically experimenting. They're working on things that might work or might not work. Their models might never see the light of day. And because of this, what do you think will happen when the company decides to lay people off? This data science team will be the first to go because they're working on models that don't bring in direct business value. They're not actively driving revenue growth. These data scientists are a nice to have, not a must-have. But if you work closely with business teams and all the data-driven decisions you make actively bring in revenue to the company, if you're actually making money from the company, then of course you will be safe from layoffs. And you will also get promoted a lot faster and climb the corporate ladder quicker. That's all for this video. I hope that this video has convinced you that data science jobs are here to stay and that AI isn't going to replace data scientists anytime soon. If you found this video valuable, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Bye.